I got to be honest, YouTube. And this time of me going through, honestly, I've been going through so much, like back to back, back to back, back to back. And in this time of me going through, I'm starting to realize that God's victory reigns regardless. And I mean, I have dealt with the losses. Like I'm dealing with man telling me it's a loss. You know what I'm saying? I'm dealing with the consequences of some actions that other people took because even my actions was not that detrimental. But I'm dealing with actions that other people took. I'm dealing with having been compelled. I'm dealing with having dealt with the drama, having dealt with the heartaches, having dealt with the pain. I can honestly say, in all my years of doing whatever I wanted to do, I never was happy. I never had peace. I never had happiness in all those years of me just like living, doing whatever I want to do, however I wanted to do it. I was never happy. I was never fulfilled. I don't care how people said, "Oh, you were good. You were good." I wasn't good. I wasn't fulfilled. I wasn't happy. I was so angry. I had so much stuff going on with me. I just hated my life. The way it was being conducted, the way things was going on and stuff like that, and me being compelled to live a lifestyle of ungodliness. I hated it. When I finally came back to God, and this is like the craziest thing. I was still going through the same drama as me being in the world. Only difference is God was doing like confirmation. And I tell people this all the time because a lot of times people think like everything's gonna be kosher. You come to God, everything's gonna be sweet, man. I can honestly tell you it wasn't for me. I went through so much more drama. I went through so much more heartache. You understand what I'm saying? And then the enemy has this cockiness about them that ticks me off even more. And nobody knows why I say the enemy has this cockiness that only frustrates me more with the enemy because the enemy can lose and I call it a win. The enemy will lose to you and you'll walk around thinking that you have lost and you did not lose. The enemy just trying to say, hey, I have authority in this time. And authority that the enemy has isn't even given to him. They stole it. See, the lies they tell, they're gonna tell you, oh, you gave this to me through lies. You gave this to me through sin. You gave me this through whatever. And to be totally honest with you, when you really come to know God, you're gonna come to know about the thefts of your innocence. It took me years to realize that my innocence was stolen at a young age. It took me years to realize that you did nothing wrong. You are not capable of making certain decisions. Other people made those decisions for you. And I'm walking around carrying the burdens of other people's decisions over my life that I would have never made myself had I been in sound mind, sound spirit, and sound solidarity in myself completely. When I tell you, when I tell you in this season, I have witnessed the enemy steal from me and won't even take responsibility for the stolen assets that was taken from me. I have witnessed the enemy lose to me and I still walk around and say they did nothing wrong. I have witnessed the enemy compel me to do wrong. Like, seriously, I did nothing wrong. I mean, spoke for me, did everything for me, and I dealt with the consequences of them doing negligent, disrespectful, ungodly behavior masquerade up as me. When I tell people evil is clever, it's clever. But righteousness is even cleverer than that. But how do you obtain righteousness? So, well, first I got to get the word of God in me. I got to get the Holy Scriptures in me. That means I'm going to read books like the Holy Quran. I'm reading the Book of Norman. I'm reading about the Latter-day Saints. I'm sitting up here. I'm reading religion. And nobody understands this. Religion is the key to a lot of this stuff that is going on. You don't want to come into the presence of some of this stuff, because I'm going to tell you something. They have taken over a lot of the temples. They have taken over a lot of the tabernacles, a lot of the kingdoms, kingdom halls, a lot of different things they have taken over and have destroyed it with evil. Have destroyed it with evil. When I sit up here and I look at why Jesus would flip the tables over, when he goes in there and he say, "You have made my father's house a den of thieves." They were merchants. They were selling stuff in the church. Trust me, it's a difference when you're selling Bible videos. Oh, I'm selling Bible videos, or whatever the case may be. It's a difference when you're doing that type of stuff. But we have to realize in some of these times, and they're not telling you that they were auctioning off women in those churches, and men and children in those churches who were worshipers. The people are coming in unto God, coming seeking God, and they're trying to make a profit off the people of God. We have to be very careful because our enemies are enslavers. They're demonic. These are demonic people. They don't come with a color. They don't come with a culture. Let me tell you something. You want to look for some righteous people? Look for people that's serving God. Don't judge a man by the color they skin. Judge them by the content of their character. I honestly tell you this about Malcolm X. Malcolm X, Martin Luther King said this. Malcolm X was more of a active fighter, but Martin Luther King sits up here and he says, judge a man by their character. Judge them by what they do. Don't judge them by the color of their skin. And it became evidence even in this time. I mean, as I'm African American, I was attacked by my own people, which was African American people, and they're not going to talk about that, and they want to do white face and say that white people attacked me. No, black people attacked me. People that were my own color, my own culture, my own people. That's the face that I had to see attack me and take from me and to abuse me and to do certain things that was against me. I didn't get to see a white face. I got to see the ones that I was in company with every day. And I'm going to be real with you. A lot of times what we fail to realize, and yeah, I've seen some other cultures involved in it too. But what I tell people this all the time, stop judging people by the color of their skin. Oh, we black. That's my brother. That's my sister. We black. Let me be real with you. A lot of times you're going to find your brother and sister in other cultures. You're going to have some white brothers and sisters. You're going to have some Hispanic brothers and sisters. You're going to have some Arab brothers and sisters. Man, them some real brothers and sisters. Man, God gave me a family that bless. You understand what I'm saying? And we international. God gave me a family that cultivates his power and his thoughtfulness over my life. You know what I'm saying? And this is the sad part about it. In this season, it's so hard to call somebody up at 1 a.m. in the morning and they're going to get up and pray with you. It's hard to sit up there and find people that are prayer warriors. Why? Because they don't want us praying. It's hard to find people that are preachers, because a lot of them ain't preaching prosperity over your life. A lot of them ain't telling you innocent. You know what I'm saying? And the devil done tricked you, because I'm telling you, the devil have my mind going. Sometimes I'm hurting and they trying to tell me I don't hurt. I'm hurting, like I'm in pain. I'm like, Lord Jesus, I'm in pain. And they trying to tell me I'm lying. You have to know the enemy and how the enemy works. The enemy never wants you to have control. The enemy will abuse you, break your body up, and then tell you, oh, ain't nothing wrong with you. You good. Go ahead on through. It's not until later on when you on the other side and God sitting up here saying, what happened to you? Oh, this was the pain I was feeling that day when I went to the doctor, and the doctor say everything was okay. Doctor say it wasn't no broken limbs, but I was feeling broken limbs. You know, I was walking on this field, but I was still feeling broken. I was still feeling hurt. I was still feeling abused. I was still feeling like I was going through all out hell. And everybody was like, oh, you good? But I wasn't good. They're not telling you how the enemy is poisoning your body. Why does the enemy want to poison your body? The enemy wants to poison your body because he does not want you to prosper. He don't want you to love you. That's the whole purpose of that compelling thing, when they sit up there and try to take demonic possession of your body, mind, and soul. Because he don't want you to do what God said. And I'm going to tell you just how sweet God is. God is like the lessons of the disciples that came before us in servitude to God. Disciples that came before us. And I know a lot of y'all don't understand. God is the word and the word is God. Let me be real with you. Let the word of God lead you in these times, because I'm going to tell you something. We're going through vision impairment. The enemy laughing, oh, I'm finna sit up here. I'm finna take your whole life out. I'm finna sit up here and I'm finna sow seeds of destruction in your life. I'm finna sit up here and I'm finna make you see hell every day of your life. I'm finna sit up here and I'm finna take. The enemy is sitting up here saying a million different things. And let me tell you something. If you think that the enemy will ever give you anything, you got another thing coming. You got another thing coming. The enemy is not going to give you no shoes, no clothes, no nothing. You get none. Enemy is not going to bless you. He's not going to bless your house. He ain't going to bless your children. If anything, he going to curse it. He's going to curse your house. He's going to curse your children. He's going to curse your life. He doesn't want you to have. And the sad part about it in this season, a lot of women are understanding. We're dealing with hoism season. This is a religion. And this is the craziest thing. I'm listening to people, and I listened to a guy today, and he said the realest people are not the people that's in the mix. I'm just surfing through shorts, and I hear this guy say this and stuff like that. And strangest things, real dudes that's in the streets don't even like people that's part of hoism and whores. That's the sad part about it. But there are a group that's out there. They don't even like that. They don't even roll with that, because they know it's problems. They know it's ungodliness next to it, right? But let's go deeper. If they don't like hoism and they don't like certain things going on in the streets, what got them out there? Understand, as long as the devil got you in one way, he's never going to change a tactic. I just need one hook, one line, one sinker. That's all the devil looking for. One hook, one line, one sinker. One thing that's going to sit up there and say you sin, and I can expand off of that. Greed. You're going through financial abuse. Why? Because they want you to be greedy. So now you're going through financial abuse. You're going through weight gain. Why? Because they want you to be gluttony. They want you to never be filled, never satisfied, never happy, never having enough. So now you're going through gluttony. Okay, you got enough, but every time it's never enough for you. And let me be real with you. In this season, I tell people this all the time. In this season, In this season, the enemy does not want you to make decisions that will grow your house, that will grow you. God said, I give in abundance. When I sit up here and I think about when it rains and stuff like that, and I put out sometimes now rain bins and stuff like that, something I never used to do before, you know. But as I matured, I started realizing that God gives a lot of stuff for free. So I started putting out like rain bins and stuff like that. And the craziest thing, when it rains, those rain bins overflow. God gives in abundance. I'm the type, I used to then, garden or whatever, and now it's just like in me to find land and to garden and stuff like that. And I'm starting to understand, when you sow a seed, does not the seed give in abundance? Do you not reap a harvest sometimes 100 times more? But what's happening, we're dealing with enemies that's not teaching us to store. They're not teaching us how to preserve what we have. Because I'm going to tell you something. I really do know for a fact that we're in the time of the Egyptian times, when we were in the time of the famine. This is the preparation before the famine. This is before the famine. Sometimes some of us are in the famine, honestly, and don't even know that we're in the famine, because we cannot tell by the supplies that are actually put on the shelf that they're pantry type foods. You understand what I'm saying? Should nothing be on a store shelf that is a month towards the due date. So what that means is, if it says January 2025, any date in January 2025, you shouldn't be using it. And today is January what 3rd, 4th, something like that. You should not be using anything that says January 30th, or even in February. If it says February 30th, all that stuff should be prepped to be discounted. That is called pantry type food. Sometimes they take those supplies and they sit up there and they send it to the food pantry for to be given away, because of the fact that its timeline is so minimal. It's only used to consume within a certain amount of time. So it's like within a week or two, or within a certain amount of time, because at the time when it gets close to that end, the taste of the food does not taste the same quality. So a lot of times we're eating and we're consuming stuff, and it has no like real good taste. And have you ever noticed the devil does not want you to sit up there and notice and call him on it? So you're eating and drinking, and it's like you're not even able to taste your food. And there's a purpose and a motive behind that, because your food may be pantry food, and that's the reason why you can't taste the quality of the food or taste what you're eating, because they're sitting up there, they're trying to switch it with something else. Sometimes they trying to switch it with pee and feces too. Ain't no telling what they trying to switch it with, but at the same time they do a lot of dirt. And they ain't a stranger to animal feces and other things too, to sit up and defile your body. We're dealing with a time where they send up there, they talking about COVID, right? COVID is that you can't see. They're not telling you that you're going through vision compromise. They're not telling you that we have been in warfare, and this is the veil time. This is that time where they're trying to dictate who you're going to marry to, whether you're going to marry to God or whether you're going to be married to the house of Satan. Whether you're going to be a child of God, or whether you're going to be a part of Satan. And I'm going to tell you, in this season, this is the season that they lie the most, because they don't want God's people to spring up. This is like that harvest season. It's like, okay, this is where I sow my seeds. I'm supposed to reap a harvest at some point. And let me be real with you. It's hard to sow seeds on bad ground. It's hard to sow seeds on bad ground. Have you ever seen athletes training, and when they begin to train to run, And as they're running, right, they sit up there and they take a parachute to hold them back. This is like that season. And it will anger you because you want to run fast. You want to be fast. You want to be fast. You want to be persistent. You want to get it done. You just want to snap your finger, everything move. You get what I'm saying? And in this season, we're dealing with the fact that, okay, things are not going to move as fast as you want it to move. You're not going to go as fast as you want to go. You're not going to have what you want to have. You may not be where you want to be. You're going through being homeless. And I mean, a lot of us are dealing with that despite the fact that we're laboring hard. We're trying to have, some of us have 2 jobs and only working 2 days. You know what I'm saying? That's when it really becomes ridiculous, because you're like, okay, well, how do I have 2 jobs and I'm only working 2 days and I'm expected to provide for myself? But yeah, it sounds good to have 2 jobs, but at the same time, it sounds even better when I'm able to make a revenue. Some of us are tied to some things that are keeping us oppressed, keeping us down. How many people have okay, man, I feel tied to this oppression. I feel tired like I'm not gonna make it. I feel tired like I'm not gonna get where I want to get because the enemy is attacking me so much. The enemy sitting up here trying to destroy me. The enemy says that I won't have in this season where I should be working the hardest. Where I should have, man, I'm doing the work, but I'm not seeing the results. I planted the harvest, but there's this bamboo season with this harvest, and this should have been grown. I should have been had, and I'm a child of God. So I tell you something, I'm gonna be real with you. I'll curse you and leave you alone. I'm a child of God. How long have I been here? How long has there not been a result? Oh, it's time to sit up there and curse this thing and move on. It's not gonna benefit me. It's not gonna do what it's supposed to do and stuff like that. And be careful what you curse, because what you curse, you might be that blessing. It's taking a long time to come through. But sometimes, I'm dead serious. How long has this fig tree been here and not prospering? How long has the fig tree been around?